Good morning, and welcome to First Unitarian Church of Providence. I should take my mask off while I'm speaking. Where we love beyond belief. I'm Neil Bartholomew, and I will be your worship associate for today's service. A special welcome to those of you joining us remotely from wherever you may be, nearby or far away. During the summer, while our ministers are away, the worship committee hosts a series of services which are led by church members and friends, with music also provided by church members and friends. This morning, we are pleased to have Lee Rodman as our speaker. Lee moved to Providence in 2019 and has been grateful to find a faith community at First U. She's a member of a Soul Circle, and she serves on the Mosaic steering team, which helps to support and advance First U's anti-racism efforts. She is a perpetual student, an activist, a puzzler, a planner, and a dabbler in arts of many kinds. Thank you, Lee. And thank you also to our musicians this morning, Megan Smith and Claire Rosenbaum. And also thank you to today's technical volunteer for our live stream, Michael Capelli. Many of us are feeling great sadness after Friday's Supreme Court decision, even though we knew it was coming. Today's service does not focus on the events of this week, but it does explore grief, healing, and resilience. We hope that some of the words and songs shared today will feel supportive to you. In this time of grief and uncertainty, know that we are here for each other in this community.
When the rain is blowing in your face and the whole world is on your case, I could offer you a warm embrace to make you feel my love. When the evening shadows and the stars appear, and there is no one there to dry your tears, I could hold you for 1,000,000 years to make you feel my love. I know you haven't made your mind up yet, but I will never do you wrong. I've known it from the moment that we met, no doubt in my mind where you belong. I'd go hungry, I'd go black and blue, I'd go crawling down the avenue. No, there's nothing that I wouldn't do to make you feel my love. and on the highway of regret. The winds of change are blowing wild and free. You ain't seen nothing like me yet. I could make you happy, make your dreams come true. Nothing that I wouldn't do. Go to the ends of the earth for you, to make you feel my love, to make you feel my love.
Good morning. Please join me in the words of our chalice lighting found in your order of service. This light burns also in our hearts, and it lights our path towards harmony, justice, and hope for all. Now we have our time of greeting. So please, we invite you to turn to one another, wave hello to folks you know, folks you don't know, and share good morning wishes.
Sorry, I was grabbing the Joys and Sorrows book from the back, and you all got done greeting each other. Let's also just quickly turn and wave at cameras and say hi to everybody at home. Hi, everybody at home. Glad you're with us. And we will read together our church covenant of our congregation in your order of service. We, the members of the First Unitarian Church of Providence, with respect for the worth and dignity of each person, with wonder at the light we know by many names, and with gratitude for our deep connection to each other and to the larger web of existence, covenant to walk together in our search for truth, seeking the paths of wisdom, compassion, and justice. Today's reading, Lee has selected a reading by Alexis Pauline Gumbs. I'm thinking about one of the many things that my dad said to me and taught me, which is about the intergenerationality of healing. I think we were talking about something relatively mundane, like I struggle to ask people for help, he struggles to ask people for help, my grandfather struggled, etc. And obviously, there are systemic reasons why all these black people would have struggled across generations, who all happen to have been structured by similar colonial systems. And what my dad said was, you know, it's so great that you're working on that, because when you heal it for all of us. And I believe that. When I heal around those things, and when we heal around those things, it reverberates in both directions. We often think about the fact that what we do is going to make it better for the future. And yes, it also reverberates the other way. And we know that, because I already have the experience of seeing people and younger generations than me living different possibilities than I have, and it heals something like nothing else could heal it. Please rise in body or spirit and join in hymn number 1051 in the Teal hymnal, We Are. We now hear the joys and sorrows of people in our congregation as written in the book at the back of the meeting house, and one sent in by email. Our partner church in Transylvania carved the beautiful candlestick pedestal for the large candle from which we light all our individual candles of joy and sorrow. We have one joy sent in via email by Peter and Chiara Van Erp. A candle of great joy for the birth of our grandson, Leon Tycho Jernigan, on June 10th, 2022. Marilyn and Leon are both doing well. And these are the very first entries in our new the cover is the same, but we've inserted a new set of pages. So we are starting fresh with a brand new Joys and Sorrows book this week. Sending love and healing thought to our beloved Beth Armstrong, we miss you. A candle of birthday celebration to one of our longest-serving members, Sandy Schacht, as he celebrates a special birthday this week. Where's Sandy? He's here somewhere. He's hiding. Anyway. A candle of recognition for Alyssa Emerson as she leaves us. We all are so grateful for the energy, service, and love which she has given to our community for these many years. safe passage. Totally in character, Sandy is waiting by the door to see if anyone shows up who needs assistance late during the service. Joy of getting to spend a few days with my wife's sister, who drove 3 days from Arkansas to visit us. And we mentioned it at the beginning of the service, but just to say it again at this time, that many of us are feeling shock and grief and feelings we can't even name after the events in the Supreme Court this week, and we'll acknowledge that too. Friends, let us rest in the gladness that we have each other to share in our joys and sorrows. It makes all the difference. The following prayer is by Reverend Elizabeth Nguyen. During the silence which follows, if you have lost someone close to you in the past year, you are welcome to raise your hand or stand in recognition of that loss. Spirit, I would really rather not learn this. Didn't think I needed to. I thought someone else can do it. I thought a leader was coming to do it. I thought the young people could do it, or the elders could do it, or the professionals. Or I don't want to learn it because it means letting go of something I hold dear. Letting go of being someone who knows the answers. Letting go of being someone who doesn't know. Letting go of the way I see the world. Letting go of how I might have to change. Letting go of certainty, of logic, of facts, of control. Of the myth that you can live on this earth and not harm. Or the myth that I can't learn anything new. Help me to learn it, please. And then help me to live what I have learned and do right by the gift of being taught.
My family got out of the car. I rushed ahead of everyone, up the stone steps to the door and rang the doorbell. I bounced up and down while I waited as my parents and sister came up the steps behind me. Finally, the door opened just a little. Beneath a head of short, thick white hair, an old face looked out at us. He frowned. "We don't want any." Then he burst into a full, deep laugh, enjoying his own joke, and opened the door wide. "Come in, come in." My grandpa would make this joke every time we visited. Then my grandma would greet us, and we'd all hug, and she'd bring us all into the kitchen, whether it was lunchtime we were arriving, or late at night, or middle afternoon. She would sit us down and start putting food in front of us. Olives, crackers, nuts, telbaniv, which is a delicious Armenian string cheese, chereg, a sweet bread, whatever she had in the cupboard, she'd put on the table. These were my mother's parents. When I think about my ancestors, I think first of my grandparents, my link between my family today and those who came before. Why should our ancestors matter to us? For some of us, they don't. We might want to defy the limitations that others put on us because of who we come from. We might not know who our ancestors are. Our connections to ancestry can look many ways. I can only speak for myself. My mother's parents were Armenian. My grandma's parents and my grandpa all immigrated to the US in the wake of the Armenian genocide. There are family stories of great-grandpa hiding in a cave, of relatives who lost their whole family, of auntie, along with so many other Armenians, being marched across the Syrian desert. The stories are difficult and the details get mixed up in my mind. Those family members who came to the US settled in the US, in New Jersey, in a community with many other Armenians, and they stayed connected to the Armenian church. I remember going when I was little to an Armenian church luncheon where they were honoring my grandmother for her years of volunteer work. I also remember learning how in my relatives' households, sons were always prized above daughters. And I remember learning about great uncle's furniture store that he passed down to my grandpa, who ran the store for many years. But I don't remember the store, just remember hearing about it. And more recently, I remember a relative telling me how grandma and grandpa used to have big parties. So many Armenian friends and family sharing food, laughing together, and also sharing a heavy, unspoken sadness. This is who I come from. I also come from British colonists. My ancestors on my father's side came to this continent with early British settlers. My family knows at least one account of an ancestor who, and I'm quoting here from family records, spent time in the service helping protect the early white settlers from the Indians. We know that during that time, this meant violently pushing Native Americans off their land, killing many, with the goal of wiping out their entire communities and cultures. Even those of my ancestors who weren't in the service still participated in the displacement and genocide of Native nations. And my ancestors built communities. They were businessmen and wives, gardeners, churchgoers. They celebrated weddings and raised children. It feels like a contradiction. This care and love together with this dehumanizing violence. Over the generations, for many of my ancestors, the tensions of this contradiction have showed up in painful ways as the impulse to justify violence against so-called others shifted into violence against family or friends and brought internal turmoil. Our family has carried both the damage that comes from committing atrocities and the care and connections that bring joy. My connection to these ancestors is through my dad's mother. She now lives in an apartment, but for many years, she lived in a small house with a wonderful garden. Heading out her door in the summers, her back door, I'd step onto the uneven brick patio with a table and chairs set up on the left. Sorry, that's my right. Set up on the right. And then over to the left, where the bricks met the edge of the small lawn, there was a big box filled with potted flowers of every color. And beyond that, green all around. Vines woven through the fence that circled the yard, and shrubs of all shades and shapes, so many different types of leaves. I cherish the memory of this beautiful place that my grandmother cultivated, the sense of vibrant life in every direction. What does all of this mean for me today, for how I live and who I am? I had a privileged upbringing with access to food and opportunities in a home that felt safe. This is both because my ancestors migrated to escape genocide and because my ancestors committed genocide to claim these lands. Throughout my life, I've felt the ongoing impacts of my ancestors' wounds, pain from the violence that they experienced and that they enacted. I've witnessed my extended family's ways of coping, often through avoidance of sadness, of guilt, of rage. I've seen how avoidance has often kept these emotions stuck, unresolved, and how without resolution, these wounds have been passed down through the generations. For me, they show up as defensiveness and also as a sense of disconnection that shows up often and intensely. I know that my ancestors and my family have been coping in the best ways we know how. But I don't want this for us. I want healing. I want to feel fully present in each moment to whatever difficulties and delights and mysteries are here now. I want to know my own resilience and my capacity to take responsibility. And I want to celebrate all the good that is in my life without reservation. In my experience, healing can't come from avoiding and denying. We don't get to undo our histories. So I am getting to know my ancestors' wounds. I have seen the spaces when my family members have turned towards their pain and how doing so has brought more clarity, more peace. I'm doing my best to follow their example, to take in my family's wounds and to tend them. Different wounds need different tending. For the times when my ancestors faced persecution and violence, I'm learning to grieve. I want to give their sadness all the space and all the care that it needs. And for the times my ancestors inflicted violence, I'm learning to tolerate feeling, guilt, and whatever other feelings come up, to engage honestly with the impacts of my ancestors' actions and of my own actions. In doing so, I'm hoping to lay a foundation for accountability to the people we have harmed. This work has propelled and supported my exploration of anti-racism to seek healing not just for my own family, but for our community, for all of us. I'm only just starting, and it's hard. Luckily, I'm not doing this work alone. My ancestors, hello, bug, wonderful web of existence, we're not alone. My ancestors passed down more than their wounds. They lived fully, and I gratefully welcome the medicine that they offer. We heal by feeding each other, by laughing together. We heal by nourishing growth in our gardens, or in my case, in 2 small pots of herbs on my windowsill. We heal by gathering in community to journey together, to share stories and healing words. And we sing together. I haven't always thought of music as connected to my ancestors, but of course, throughout human history, for so long, we don't even know when it started, our ancestors have been singing. They've made music to mourn, to celebrate, to make one another feel our love. Our traditions of music have been so supportive of our living and healing that we have passed them down through the ages in countless forms. In my own family, on my father's side, my great-grandmother sang opera here in the Northeast United States. But during the war, the First World War, she felt a call to leave home and go overseas, to sing for the troops, to bring them comfort and hope. On my mother's side, I don't know specific stories, but I know that my ancestors would have sung in church and that they would have sung folk songs. On one rare occasion, from the other room where my grandpa was putting away laundry, I heard a bouncing, flowing tune in Armenian. My mother turned to me and said quietly, "I can't remember the last time he sang." I couldn't understand my grandpa's words, but I could feel his joy. I find myself drawing on music for healing in my own life. About 2 years ago, an important friendship in my life came to an end. The loss came over me with a heavy weight, and the ache stayed for months. One day, alone in my apartment, I felt another wave of grief coming through me, and I started to sing. Notes and words came out, just 4 lines at first. But then the rest of the afternoon I was pacing and singing and mumbling, spinning these 4 lines into a whole song filled with grief, remorse, cherished memories. I felt grief moving in me unsettled. And when I felt the song finish, that grief was still in me, transformed. It felt like love. Song, just one of many gifts from my ancestors. As I begin to turn towards our family's older wounds, and as I face the challenges of our world today, I hold on to these gifts. I feel my ancestors' support and wisdom guiding me towards our collective healing. And now, I invite you all to rise in body or spirit to join us in singing hymn 121.
We are a spiritual community who govern ourselves through democratic process and who support ourselves through our own collective generosity. We take responsibility for how we conduct ourselves as individuals and as a community, and love and generosity are among our core spiritual values. Our annual pledges are the expression of generosity which provides most of the financial support for the mission of this church, and our weekly offering is a visible symbol of that support. We invite you to join in the spirit of love and generosity as the offering for the mission and vision of this church is now gratefully received. As always, thank you for all that you give, all that you do, and all that you are.
As I went down in the river to pray, studying about that good old way, and who shall wear the starry crown? Good Lord, show me the way. Oh, sisters, let's go down, come on down. Oh, sisters, let's go down in the river to pray. As I went down in the river to pray, studying about that good old way, and who shall wear the robe and crown? Good Lord, show me the way. Oh, brothers, let's go down, come on down. Oh, brothers, let's go down in the river to pray. As I went down in the river to pray, studying about that good old way, and who shall wear the starry crown? Good Lord, show me the way. Oh, fathers, let's go down, come on down. Oh, fathers, let's go down in the river to pray. As I went down in the river to pray, studying about that good old way, and who shall wear the robe and crown? Good Lord, show me the way. Oh, mothers, let's go down, come on down. Don't you want to go down? Come on, mothers, let's go down in the river to pray. As I went down in the river to pray, studying about that good old way, and who shall wear the starry crown? Good Lord, show me the way. Oh, humans, let's go down, come on down. Oh, humans, let's go down in the river to pray. As I went down in the river to pray, studying about that good old way, and who shall wear the robe and crown? Good Lord, show me the way.
We have two invitations to participation in the life and work of this church. Both have to do with ways that there's volunteer work is the engine that drives everything that happens, everything that brings our mission into reality, into effect. And First U Community Food Share Pantry has volunteer opportunities. The First Unitarian Food Share Pantry is going strong. We serve approximately 100 families, providing them with a variety of food items on the third Monday of each month. Food is boxed up and distributed to people when they arrive at the parking lot of the church from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. This effort requires a myriad of skills, availability, and enthusiasm from a team of volunteers. We're currently seeking help with two tasks: intake and bread pickup. Both of these tasks will be shared with experienced volunteers. An intake volunteer needs to be available from 1:30 p.m. to 3 p.m. or from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. on Food Share Day, which again is the third Monday of each month. To greet our clients in the parking area, this all happens outside, to assist them with the required paperwork. The job requires a lot of standing, the ability to be outside in all types of weather, and a sense of humor. Being bilingual is helpful and preferred, but not required. A bread pickup volunteer needs to be available on the Thursday before the Monday pantry distribution to pick up bread boxes at the church. So that's a quick job. Just come to the church, grab the boxes that the bread's going to go into. And then on Friday at 6:30 a.m. to pick up a bread order and deliver it to the church. The church requires an early riser, some light lifting, it's bread, and a car able to fit the bread. Most hatchbacks work. Please email firstufoodsshare@gmail.com. That's all one word, firstufoodsshare@gmail.com if you're interested or have questions, or you can talk to Judy Ortman or Cheryl Bartholomew. Cheryl's in the back there. You could maybe wave. Judy, I think, is not in the hall right now. And another volunteer opportunity that is out there is the technical team that does our live streams every single week has been doing so for over 2 years and does an amazing job. Could use 1 or 2 more volunteers. If you have any thought that you might want to learn how to do that, the best thing would be to contact the church office, contact Nancy Forstrom in the church office. And our service next Sunday will be presented by Channing Gray, speaking about lessons he has learned as a volunteer at the bedside of hospice patients. Music will be provided by Chris Sanzo, and we look forward to seeing you then. Please be sure to check the First U Times for all kinds of stuff that's going on. That is the way to find out what's going on here. And please read it when it shows up in your inbox.
Our closing words today are by Susanna Barkataki. To be a good ancestor, to me, is to tune into that inner voice, the inner knowing that is supported by my blood ancestors, my spirit ancestors, spiritual cheerleaders, my comrades alongside me, and also to keep in mind future generations and to calibrate and recalibrate to that inner knowing of what is my next right step? What is the next action that will lead to more unity and more connection and away from separation? And that process of moving forward, not needing to know the whole path, but just seeing that next point in front of me through that inner alignment and connection, that's how I seek and hope to connect with others. And now could you please join me in the words of our chalice extinguishing, printed in your order of service. We carry the flame of peace and love and hope until we meet again.
Sometimes we wonder a worried wonder, what more can we do? In all our longing to bring healing to this land, will we last long enough to see it through? From all our giving, all our passion, all our care, when we're gone, will something good be left behind? Then we hear a voice from deep inside. Sweet, simple words come to ease our minds. Trees grow slow, and trees grow strong, and trees sway with the wind their whole lives long, and trees hold the ground as they reach for the sky, and fallen trees still feed the seeds they cast before they die. We wander to and fro and sway a while, then go, burn more holes in our boots. In all our going, what we want to know, will our souls ever put down roots? Is there a somewhere we'll know we're finally home, feeling this is the place where we belong? Then we hear a voice so clear and strong. Turn off your mind, listen to this song. Trees grow slow, and trees grow strong, and trees sway with the wind their whole lives long, and trees hold the ground as they reach for the sky, and fallen trees still feed the seeds they cast before they die. We let the fences fall, what stands between us all, and sense the veil thin. The night dark raven calls and tilts his wing and sends a bolt of wild wisdom through our skin. The winter wren is thrilling out its song, and it fills our hearts up to the brim. The whole living world just takes us in. One more time, let the song begin. Trees grow slow, and trees grow strong, and trees sway with the wind their whole lives long, and trees hold the ground as they reach for the sky, and fallen trees still feed the seeds they cast before they die, and fallen trees still feed the seeds they cast